Hello, folks, and welcome to another episode of the Cubs Line Podcast. I'm Ryan Dunleavy.
And I'm Ron Zilski.
And the Cubs dropped two dreadful ball games in Minnesota. Yesterday was an 8-1 game, and today was a 4-2 game. Ryan, what are your thoughts, and what have you seen so far in this Minnesota road trip?
Well, the bullpen lost them the game, yesterday. They didn't really lose them the game though, because they only scored one. So it's not, even if even if Shota's runs were the only runs given up, they still would have lost 2-1. But to lose a game 4-2 today, with no base runners, or sorry, one base runner after the fifth inning for the rest of the game. The bats have been non-existent this series, and I think if they could just hit the ball a little bit more, they could have won today. Possibly even one yesterday with a different kind of approach with the pitchers. So yeah, just kind of two bad games with the bats.
Yeah, and then to start off, our first part of business is Porter Hodge is on the IL. It is a shoulder impingement, not believed to be serious, and with that, Ethan Roberts comes up to the big league club. What are you expecting out of Ethan Roberts?
Um, I'm just hoping he can do his job, right? That's all you're gonna ask from him. Do your job, get the outs that you're asked to get. Um, don't blow the games up. Really, that's all. Because we've got our guys that we can turn to in the big innings right now who are not injured. But yeah, just do what you're asked to do. That's pretty much what I got.
Yeah, personally, I would have liked to see Riley Martin, but not a big deal. So to start off, we'll just do in total. The Cubs dropped down to 54-38, and now have a 1.5 game lead in the division. Man, can things change within a week?
Yeah, seriously. A few days ago we were celebrating a 4.5 game lead or a 3.5 game lead, talking about, oh, maybe we can get to 6.5 or 7.5, and you know, here we are, 1.5 up.
I mean, you gotta give credit where credit's due. The Brewers just swept, if not the best, one of the best teams in baseball, the Los Angeles Dodgers. And Dodgers, you can't like say like, oh yeah, they didn't pitch guys. They hit off Yamamoto, they hit off Kershaw. The Dodgers threw everything at them, and they just couldn't seem to find it. But with that being said, the Dodgers are on a 6 game losing streak right now. They got swept by the Brewers, and then they got swept by someone else.
Houston over the weekend.
Houston, yeah, they got swept by Houston and the Brewers, two good teams, but they haven't been playing good ball as of late. But a sweep against the Dodgers is a sweep against the Dodgers, and the Cubs barely could pull off a 2 game sweep. 3 game sweep is very impressive from Milwaukee, and this team is very hot as of right now. So we'll get into yesterday's recap. Simon Woods Richardson gets the win, his fifth on the year. That moves him to 5-4 with a 4.08 ERA. Shota Imanaga gets the loss. He's now 5-3 on the year with a 2.8 ERA. So we'll get into this recap. Ian Happ fly out, Tucker strikes out, Sale walks, PCA strikes out. A lot of strikeouts in the series so far. And then to start off the game yesterday, Byron Buxton hit his 12th double on the year. This was a ball hit, ground ball. It was a pretty good pitch too. Um, 1-2 splitter outside corner, good pitch, but good execution by Buxton. Just ground ball right down the line. And then Ryan Jeffers hits a double. This ball was hit 110 miles an hour, just a rocket down the line to Ian Happ. This made it a 1-0 ball game. And then you get to ground out. Correa singles, but runners on the corners. And then Royce Lewis hits a sac fly. Not like a really good hit ball, but enough to do a job and get the runner in. Then Imanaga strikes out Bader. Did you lose some confidence there in the first inning, or do you think the Cubs' bats could have gotten them back in this game?
Well, it's not like I thought we couldn't score 2 runs in a game. We didn't, but obviously, it's not great for your starting pitcher to go out there give up 2 in the first inning. But you know, I was a little upset, but nothing really. The Cubs can't handle. We've seen them score, 18 runs, 16 runs in games this year. So it's not like was like, oh, it's over. But yeah, it's settled, and the score stayed the same until the eighth. But yeah, the bats just, they didn't do their job this past 2 games.
Yeah, and then Dansby Swanson in the top of the second hits a 1-out single, but then Carson Kelly grounds out into a double play. One thing I do want to mention though is when Dansby Swanson earlier in the year got moved to the 8th spot, he was raking. He gets moved up and then he doesn't hit well. And then Michael Bush is hitting like 7th in the order. He rakes, and now he kind of struggles in that 5 spot, which is just kind of a funny statistic. When Craig Counsell moves the hot guys up in the lineup, they end up not doing as well, but when he moves them down, they do well. Do you have anything on that? It was just a coincidence I found.
I mean, that's why you don't move guys around, right? Even if you're hot, it's not like you should be the 4 hitter. If Dansby's hot at the 8, keep him at the 8, right? It's a whole different approach when each spot in the batting order. And yeah, I think they should have kept him down there because he was a really good hitter when he was down there. So was Michael Bush. Now Michael Bush is struggling. But yeah, I think it's a whole different mental game. So yeah, I think Dansby's got to stay back down there.
Yeah, in the bottom of the second, the Twins go down in order. Ian Happ draws a walk with 2 outs. Kyle Tucker hits a single, runners on first and third, and Seiya Suzuki strikes out on a pitch. It was a foul tip, but way outside of the zone. It was a good at bat, but you got to make something happen there, and you can't swing at that pitch. Twins go down in order again in the bottom of the third. Cubs go down in order in the top of the fifth. Harrison Bader hits a 2-out single and steals a bag, but Ty France ended up lining out to Ian Happ. This ball was clobbered, hit 109 miles an hour. Happ made a nice play on it. It was just right to him. And then in the top of the fifth, Carson Kelly leadoff walk, and then 2 pop outs in a row and a strikeout. If you're going to lead off walk, you got to do something with it, take advantage of the walks. They go back. The Twins go down in order in the bottom of the fifth. Ian Happ makes a beautiful catch on a ball hit by Christian Vasquez off the wall. Top of the sixth, Cubs. Kyle Tucker walks. Seiya strikes out. PCA then flies out. Willie Castro makes a really nice play on PCA. This could have been a knock. Michael Bush hits a nice single, and then you got runners on first and third again. Dansby Swanson strikes out. 2 times you have runners on first and third, 2 strikeouts, so you can't have that happen. And then in the bottom of the sixth inning, Ryan Jeffers hits a leadoff single, but they can't do anything after that. A couple good hit balls, but nothing really. Top of the seventh, Cubs go down in order again. Harrison Bader did make a really nice grab on Matt Shaw's ball. Twins outfield played really well. The Brooks Lee hits a 2-out single in the bottom of the seventh, nothing going there. Top of the eighth, Ian Happ hits a single, Tucker walks. So you got a 2-0 ball game. The both of the leadoff runners on first and second, no outs. This gives you some hope, especially against a guy like Griffin Jacks, who is a high-end reliever, and then strikeout, line out. That cannot happen there. That gives you some momentum and just shoots down right away.
Yeah, I just think, 2 on, nobody out. Obviously, you're not going to bunt with Seiya. I think if PCA is up with nobody out, you try to bunt. So it's second and third, 1 out. But you're not going to bunt with Seiya. You just can't, strike out on 3 pitches there. Really didn't give much of a battle whatsoever. And then PCA goes up there, trying to be the hero, swings at, takes the first pitch for a ball, 1-0 count. You're hoping that he can kind of work in at bat, maybe even draw a walk at the bases loaded. And then he swings at a changeup, a sweeper, and a sweeper. A bad at bat from PCA in a big situation, and then Michael Bush lines out. Pretty good, pretty hard hit ball, but you're not gonna do anything with 2 outs. You got to get a hit there. There's no sacrifice in that situation. So if it's not a hit, it doesn't matter. But yeah, that's kind of when my hope was lost when you blow that opportunity late in the game.
Yeah, and then Porter Hodge comes in the bottom of the eighth, blows up the game. He walks Byron Buxton on 5 pitches. And then Brian Jeffers comes up, hits his 7th home run on the year. This ball was smoked. I mean, he bat flipped and everything. This was a bomb. 420 feet off the bat. This was a bomb. And then Willie Castro on the second pitch of that at bat, Hodge just serves him up a sweeper down and in, a hitter's favorite pitch, and he makes no mistake with that ball. And then Correa hits a double and then goes to third on a wild pitch. Royce Lewis hits a single on a ground ball to Happ, but this was deflected by Dansby Swanson. This ball was smoked 97 miles off the bat. It's made it a 6-0 Twins game. And then after that, Harrison Bader hit his 11th home run on the year. This was one of the longest home runs I've seen in a long time. This ball was hit 446 feet. I mean, just a bomb. I like Bader though. I got to meet him last year. He's a super cool guy, but don't do that against the Cubs for sure. And then he gets a strikeout, and then they put John Birdie in the game, and Birdie goes 1, 2, 3. There we go. Just a little blue pip. Besides that, good appearance from John Birdie.
John Birdie getting his ERA back down. Love to see it.
And then Vidal strikes out. I do want one positive that came out of this game. Justin Turner hit his 200th career home run. Good for JT. He's had a nice MLB career, won a couple rings, and I want to congratulate Justin Turner on his 200th home run. Funny coincidence is the guy that caught this home run was a redheaded Cubs fan, just like Justin Turner.
Also named Justin.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah,
Nico
that
Hoerner hits a single to center, and then Matt Shaw grounds out into a double play. Simon Woods Richardson gets the dub. Imanaga gets the L. I'm not really going to cover the Twins pitching, but I'm going to go over the Cubs. Shota Imanaga goes 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs. 2 of them are earned. No walks, 1 strikeout, 2.8 ERA. Not Shota's best start, not his worst. I mean, it's a pretty mid start. The one thing Shota did not have in his favor was striking out guys like he normally does. Not a terrible start, though. Thielbar comes in for an inning, 1 hit, no runs, no walks. He got a strikeout. He's now at a 1.86 ERA. Then Porter Hodge comes in for a third of an inning, 5 hits, 6 runs. All of them were earned. 1 walk, a strikeout, 3 home runs. He's now at a 6.85 ERA. Birdie comes in for 2/3 of an inning, a hit, no runs, no walks. He's now at a 10.8 ERA. A little rough there from John Birdie, but all good, all good. So Ryan, when we saw Porter Hodge last year, he was electric. He was topping out at 98, 99, maybe even 100. His off speed was unreal. And a lot of times when Porter Hodge came in the 8th and the 9th inning, teams weren't really touching him. At the beginning of this year, Porter Hodge started off strong, but after a couple of good weeks, he just kind of let up and was not as good. But then he was injured, out for a while. He came back. His rehab outings were not very good at all. He got lit up in those, comes up to the big leagues, has a couple of rough outings, and then he has a couple good outings, and then a terrible outing, and then back to the IL. What have you seen from Porter Hodge, the difference from this year to last year?
I just don't think he's fully recovered, right? So he gets injured, and they weren't necessarily rushing him back, but you know, if he was really bad in those rehab starts, I just don't, necessarily think that they should have rushed him back into the big leagues and gave him a what we call a pretty big inning, right? It's a 2-run game in the bottom of the 8th inning. Like you got to go out, you got to make some pitches, get some outs, and he just didn't do that. He's been really shaky. Yeah, I don't think he's fully recovered from the oblique injury, and now he's got something else going on. So I am definitely a little bit worried about, Porter Hodge's future this season. Hopefully he's able to make a full recovery, but I guess we'll never know because I do think he didn't fully recover from the oblique injury.
Here's the thing, though. You only really need 4 starting pitchers in the playoffs, so not every bullpen pitcher is going to pitch. It's like you'll have your trust guys, and after that, some of those guys will sit in the bullpen for a month and not throw a baseball in an actual game. So that's just how the playoffs are. And then, I mean, just he hasn't been the same as we've seen the Porter Hodge that we know and love, and I hope that he can get back to that. Overall takeaways from that ball game yesterday.
I said it before, bats didn't show up. Big loss. Shota. Honestly, I'm not even mad about Shota's outing. He went 6 innings, but yeah, he didn't strike a lot of guys out, but he only gave up 2 runs. Right, that's all you can really ask for. Thielbar pitched good. But yeah, the bats just did not show up when they needed to, especially in the top of the 8th inning.
Yeah, so in between our games, we'll do a little fun topic because not a lot of good to talk about in today's episode. We'll do a little guess the prospect. So we acquired this guy in the Yu Darvish trade from San Diego. He is a Canadian and played for Team Canada in the WBC. He is a left-handed bat but throws right-handed, and he's been on a tear as of late.
You said he's a prospect, right?
Yes.
Owen Cassie.
Yep, Owen Casey. And while we're doing this now, shout out to Mark's Card Shop. Go check them out. We have all of their info loaded on our Instagram. Thank you for sponsoring today's show and sponsoring us in general. Shout out to Mark's Card Shop. So today's recap: David Festa gets the win. He's now 3-3 on the year with a 5.25 ERA. Cade Horton gets the loss. He's now 3-3 with a 4.45 ERA, and then Johan Duran comes in for the save, his 14th of the year. He's now at a 1.52 ERA. The Cubs dropped this ball game 4-2. So we'll get into the recap. Happ strikes out, Tucker grounds out, Suzuki strikes out. So a rough first inning again for the Cubs. Byron Buxton on an 0-2 pitch gets hit on a ball in the hands. You can't have that to start a game. 98-mile-an-hour fastball up and in on a 0-2 pitch. You can't hit a guy like Byron Buxton on that.
Yeah, I agree. I think he also had that problem in Houston, that bad Houston start. He started hitting guys with two strikes. He's just got to figure that out, locate his 0-2 pitches better. Again, we aren't asking for gems from Cade Horton. I think today was okay, but yeah, you'd like to see, not a 2-0 deficit after the first inning, each at back-to-back games.
Yeah, and then Buxton steals second, but Castro strikes out and Larnick flies out. But then the Cubs killer of the series, Ryan Jeffers, hits a single on a ground ball to Suzuki. This ball was hit 101 off the bat. Sorry. Just a torch. I mean, Ryan Jeffers has been a stud for the Twins this series. What do you got on him?
I mean, like you said, he hit that home run in the bottom of the eighth, bat flip and everything. He's just been kind of like a Nolan Gorman with the Cardinals. We haven't seen him, it's not like we see him multiple times every year. But he's become kind of that Nolan Gorman where, every time he comes to the plate, it's like, oh boy, what has he got in store for this AB? But yeah, he's been incredible. Credit to him.
Yeah, and then Correa hits a double to Kyle Tucker. This ball was roped. It went off the wall, I believe. Correa, another Cubs killer. He's a really good ball player, though. Makes it a 2-0 game. I mean, what has been up with these Cubs starting pitchers in the first inning this series?
I mean, Shota gave up. He was the victim of, a couple walks. I believe a couple walks in the first inning, right? That led to a double.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an early double, and Horton. If you're 0-2, to start the game on Byron Buxton, you can't throw it in and hit him, and then he steals. Castro strikes out, and Larnick flies out. You got two outs, and you got to pitch a better AB. You kind of floated that thing over the middle on 1-2. I'd like to see that located a lot better. It's a 1-2 pitch. I don't necessarily think you got to float a four-seam fastball right over the heart of the plate. There's a lot of better pitches you can throw. But yeah, paid the price, and hopefully he'll learn from it.
Yeah, and then Cade Horton throws one over the plate to Matt Wallner. This ball was smoked over the right field wall. This makes it a 3-0 game. And then Ty France and Harrison Bader strike out, and Brooks Lee grinds out. So they end up getting out of the inning, but 3-0 ball game after two. That's not what you like to see. John Birdie gets a 2-out knock, and then Willie Castro makes a heck of a play on Ian Happ in foul territory. And after that, bottom of the third inning, strikeout, and then Ryan Jeffers walked, but Cade picks him off, which you like to see. And then again, the Cubs get a big inning going. Single, walk, fly out, walk, and then Dansby comes up. Finally, Dansby, clutch knock. Love to see it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it wasn't a pretty knock, but we'll take it, right? He did his job. Got a run on the board. Started a kind of a rally, but it's always big. Just get one in those kind of situations. But yeah, Dansby delivers, does his job. It's a big run to score. It was just kind of a funky play, but yeah, big run to score early in the game. Kind of get the wheels going. Hopefully, you're thinking, all right, Nico, get a hit, get a sack fly, and then big Reese McGuire looking for an RBI. Obviously, he didn't get it, but yeah, great to see Dansby, contributing.
He's been playing well as of late. I'll give him his credit.
He has. He's hit the ball really well.
And then Nico hits a ground ball to third. They get the force out at second. But a run scores. I mean, this ball was a very, very low changeup. I don't even know how he made contact with it. It was almost at the plate. Kind of crazy. And then McGuire, not a bad ball at all. Just right to Harrison Bader. So Cubs get out of it 3-2. I mean, not terrible at all.
Yeah, like I mean, obviously, you'd like it if Reese gets a hit there, ties the game up, but it's whatever. 3-2, long way to go. But yeah, I was feeling really good after that inning.
Yeah, and then Correa grounds out. Royce Lewis hits a double. Matt Wallner hits a single, so runners on first and third. Ty France pops out to Michael Bush in foul territory, and then kind of a boneheaded play. Wallner steals second. McGuire throws it through. Wallner gets into pickle, which allows Roy Lewis to score, makes it a 4-2 game. What was kind of your thoughts on this play?
It's got to be more heads up, right? He's going to try and get into a pickle because that's what you're taught to do. So either don't throw through, or as soon as he gets in the pickle, fire to first, or not to first, to home, to eliminate the possibility of that. Because even if Wallner goes back to first, or if he takes second, you'd rather have that than a run come home. So yeah, I just think you got to be more heads up.
Yeah, and the Cubs go down in order in the top of the fifth. Willie Castro hits a two-out single or two-out double, and then Larnick walks. That'd be it for Cade Horton's outing. But then Ryan Brazier comes in, gets a force out, big out there from Ryan Brazier, like he's done this last stretch. Michael Bush with a two-out knock. Then Dansby hits into a force out. Twins go down in order in the bottom of the sixth. Cubs go down in order in the top of the seventh. Bottom of the seventh, Ty France hits a leadoff double, but Ryan Presley works out of it. He made a really impressive play on Willie Castro, a high chopper. He jumps up, makes the play. That was nice to see from Ryan Presley. And then the Cubs go down in order in the top of the eighth with 1, 2, and 3 up. That's something you can't do there. I mean, they haven't really been good. Neither Seiya Suzuki. Do you expect more out of them?
Yeah, I mean, right. I mean, Ian Happ takes the first pitch as a ball. You know, it's a 1-0 count. Next pitch, not a strike, but he swings at it. I don't understand why. You want to get settled in there, try and work it. I mean, it could have been 2-0. Then he fouls off a four seamer. Didn't really have a problem swinging there because it would have been a strike anyway. Fouls off another knuckle curve, and then just takes. I mean, I don't know really what he was looking at, what he was looking for. I guess he got frozen, but I mean, he looks at a forcing fastball right there, strikes out. I mean, that's just brutal. Kyle Tucker, first two pitches of the AB could have ended up in the right field seats, but he missed both of them. He takes down low on the third pitch to make it 1-2 count, and then he misses a knuckle curve to ground out to first to make it 2. And then Suzuki hits a ball really well, but it's right to the fielder. So I mean, Suzuki's the only one who really hit the ball well that inning, and you want more because you're looking at that, you're like, all right, this is probably our last chance. If we get something going, this is our last chance to do something. Strike out, weak ground out, and then a line out. Pretty brutal from the guys who are supposed to step up in the big moments.
Yeah, one thing before you go on. Look at this cup I got. Wrigleyville, home of the Chicago Cubs. It's a bunch of like famous Cubs players and Cubs stuff, but they name it as pubs like Harry Carey, Tervin. We got Bernie's, Red Ivy, just around Wrigleyville.
Where did you get that? Did you just buy it around Wrigley, or was it
I
a
don't
season
know. My
ticket
brother
holder?
came up, gave me some water, and it's a pretty cool cup.
Wow. All right. Well,
So we'll get back into the recap. Ryan Jeffers gets hit in the bottom of the eighth. Correa single, but then Drew Pomeranz gets out of it. Cubs' last chances in the ninth. PCA has a weak ground ball to Carlos Correa. That's one out. And then Bush grounds out to Carlos Correa. Two lefty guys who hit the ball oppo on those pitches. And then Dansby Swanson actually not a bad ball at all. 98 miles an hour off the bat. But Twins win this ball game 4-2. Obviously, I mean, with a team like the Twins who are under 500 right now, you need to capitalize off them. And people coming into this series are like, yeah, the Cubs need to. This is a series that they can stack some wins up going into the All-Star break. But instead of that, they just kind of, I mean, fail under pressure.
here's the
Um,
thing. Here's kind of my thoughts about it. You thought you were going to be able to go and get to maybe even sweep Minnesota, right? Then you could afford a series loss versus New York. Well, now you're in trouble. You have to win tomorrow because you can't get swept. If you get swept, that's embarrassing. If you win tomorrow, then again, you still have to win the series. I think if you lose tomorrow and get swept, then you have to sweep the Yankees just because of, again, the Brewers are so hot right now. They're off tomorrow, so you can get to 2 games again with a win. Um, but yeah, you got to be on this weekend against the Yankees. Don't look ahead, right? Focus on tomorrow, win tomorrow, but then they got to be really stellar against the Yankees this weekend because we thought we were going to be able to get 2 or 3. In reality, the best we can get is 1. So, I mean, you gotta, you gotta win tomorrow. Then you gotta take 2, and hopefully, you know, maybe even get a sweep. But I don't know. I don't think they can sweep. I think they need 2 in New York, and they gotta win tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. Focus on tomorrow first, and then Cade Horton. This loss moves him to 3-3 on the year. He went 4 2/3 of an inning, 6 hits, 4 runs. All of them were earned. 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, 1 run. He's now at a 4.45 ERA. I love what I've seen from Cade Horton, but man, has he been inconsistent.
I agree. His last start, I believe his last start was the Cleveland start, right? Yeah. So he went, I believe, into the 7th inning. No runs, maybe 3 or 4 hits. That's the Cade Horton that we drafted, right? Then he'll come out here, throw a couple meatballs, give up a few runs. This wasn't too as bad as the Houston one. Um, this was acceptable. We'll take 4 runs, because that should be fine for this Cubs offense, but unfortunately, it was not less, or it was too much for this Cubs offense to overcome. But yeah, Cade Horton's just got to be better consistent.
Yeah, and then Brazier comes in for an inning and a third. Nothing allowed. 1 strikeout. He's now at a 1.1 ERA. Presley comes in for an inning, 1 hit. He's now at a 3.28 ERA. He's been really good as of late. And then Pomeranz comes in for an inning. Nothing allowed, 1 hit, strikeout. He's now at a 0.73 ERA. 3 experienced relievers come in and do their job. You love to see it. So then we'll get into our players of the game from the past 2 days. I don't really think we have to go over the Twins pitching staff. We're a Cubs podcast. My player of the game from yesterday had to have been Ryan Jeffers. He was 3 for 4 on the day with 2 runs, 3 hits, 3 RBIs. He had a big home run yesterday. He had quite the day behind the plate.
Yeah, for yesterday, I agree with you. I think Ryan Jeffers is kind of the obvious answer, or Harrison Bader for his big home run. But I'm gonna go with the future NL Cy Young, John Birdie.
I like it. I like it. And then for today, it has to be Matt Wallner. He was 2 for 3 on the day with 1 run, 2 hits, and RBI. He hit a moonshot today, which I believe was the game winner. So it has to be Matt Wallner. Some Cubs bright sides. Obviously, you don't want it to be all Twins. Yesterday, I'm going to give it to Justin Turner. He hit his 200th career home run. Good for JT. Today, there was only 4 hits in the ballgame from the Cubs. I'm going to give it to Ryan Brazier. He comes in for an inning and a third. Nothing allowed. He continues to do his job. He's now at a 1.1 ERA. In his last 7 outings, he has not allowed a run. In his last 15 games, he has a 0.36 or a 6.3 ERA. So he's been unreal as of late. Ryan, anything?
I think my Cubs player of the game yesterday, Justin Turner, but today Ryan Presley. He's looked a lot better. He had a big strikeout. He was in the bottom of the 7th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bottom of the 7th. He had a big strikeout. Great pitch. He's looked a lot better. So yeah, Ryan Presley. I love what he's been doing on the mound lately.
Yeah. So with 2 rough starts, Shota's wasn't rough, but not typically Shota, and 2 bad first innings. But yesterday, Shota goes out there, and does his job. Hodge blows the game. Today, Horton blows the game. Bullpen does their job. What do you think is a bigger priority at the deadline? A pretty good starting pitcher or some good relievers?
Well, I don't necessarily think Cade blew the game today. He only gave up 4, which should be
I'm saying
enough.
he gave up all the runs in the
Yeah, I
bullpen.
know. I get what you're saying. So, I mean, okay. So in reality, you need 4 starters in the playoffs, right? This should be their main focus. So you got Matthew Boyd, you have Shota Imanaga, you have hopefully
JMO,
Jamison Tyon. Hopefully he'll be ready. And then your fourth, who are you looking at?
whoever you acquire.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. So, um, I think you got to go out. You got to get. It's tough because you can either go out and get a big name reliever, right, and then you can get like an okay starter, or you can get like a Sandy Alcantara, and then get a couple, low level relievers. But I think ultimately the biggest priority in the playoffs and what this team needs moving forward is relief pitching, because if your starter gives you, a solid, just okay outing with like 4 runs, you have to be able to keep that, right? You can't turn that into 8 or 9, right? So I think relievers should be the number one priority, but they should not overlook starting pitching.
Yeah, so I'm kind of torn on this one because I want to make the ball game in the playoffs an 8 inning game. That is the best thing you can do when you're like, all right, this guy coming in the ninth, we're not gonna hit off him. Kind of like Johan Duran and the Twins. It's an 8 inning game if I'm gonna be honest. So yeah, I mean but I need another guy in this rotation because I do not trust Colin Ray, Cade Horton, Jordan Wicks, any of those guys to start a baseball game in the playoffs for the Cubs. I want a guy that can start either game 1 or game 2 for the Cubs. I know that's kind of high expectations. I think Boyd, Shota, those 2 guys definitely could. JMO's probably more of a fourth game guy, but I want a guy that on the mound, game 1, he can is a guy that can match up with someone like a Yamamoto, a Senga, a Zach Wheeler. Listen to all these. I'll go through it really quick. In the playoffs right now, the Dodgers have Yamamoto, Snell, all of these studs. I don't have to go through all of them. The Phillies have Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, Christopher Sanchez, one of Ranger Suarez, one of the best, I think the best rotation in the league right now. The Mets have Kodai Senga, David Peterson, all of these big arms. The Brewers, I mean, Freddie Peralta's an all-star. Jacob Mizorowski's out here making people look silly on 98 miles an hour sliders. Then right now, San Francisco in the last spot. I don't want to have to go and face Robbie Ray and Logan Webb in a series. That's not good. I mean, Matthew Boyd and Shota Imanaga is not bad, but I need a guy that can front run my rotation. When I look at the Cubs, I want a guy like game 1 on the bump. I got Zach Gallen. I got Sandy Alcantara. I got Chris Sale. Any of these big arms, I want it, and I think that's something that the Cubs are missing right now. So I'm going to go a big starter, but reliever is still a big priority, and I want them to go get some.
I mean, I could see both sides of the story, right? You need good starting pitching to win a World Series. So yeah, I can see both sides, and I won't dock you for that take.
Yeah. So then here's my next thing. So as most Cubs fans have seen, Owen Caissie has been on a tear. In the past week, he has 3 multi-homer games. He was named the International League Player of the Week. Kevin Alcantara, also 5 consecutive multi-hit games. These Cubs prospects are scratching the surface for the major leagues as of late. So, as you know, Seiya Suzuki and Ian Happ, after this year, both will have 1 year left on their contract. So, I have a couple different questions for this. Who would you rather trade at the deadline, and which guy would you rather keep as a corner outfielder? Owen Caissie or Kevin Alcantara?
Who would I rather keep?
Yes.
I'd rather keep Owen Caissie. He's got a great glove, and he does kind of have a better bat. I mean, he's hitting 279 Kevin Alcantara is hitting 267. Kevin Alcantara has 11 home runs. Owen Casey has 18. Um, Kevin Alcantara has 47 RBIs, so he's got six more than Casey at 41. But I just think that Owen Casey brings, a little bit more to the table. I think he's a better glove. He's got a better bat right now, according to the stats. So yeah, I would rather keep Owen Casey and hopefully get Kevin Alcantara in a package for a superstar at the trade deadline.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'd rather keep Owen Casey. But here is my one thing that I do want to say, though. Say you re-sign Kyle Tucker, and say, just forbid, they get rid of, say, Suzuki and Ian Happ. This is your outfield. In left field, Owen Casey. In center field, PCA. In right field, Kyle Tucker. You notice a pattern? All left-handed hitters. So that could be a problem for the Cubs. When your outfield is all left-handed bats, which is nothing wrong with it, but th- three guys who will be towards the top of your lineup. All right, then I'm just going to bring in a left-handed hitter or a left-handed pitcher who throws gas. That is my one thing. You do want to have variety. So you could make a case for Alcantara, but I just think Owen Casey is a better player, flat out on paper. I think there's going to be a lot of teams who are going to want to trade for Owen Casey, and you can get a bigger player with Owen Casey. But I want to see him in the Cubby Blue. And then my next question is, if you don't trade Owen Casey at the deadline, does he come up to the big leagues for this playoff stretch?
I absolutely think he does. Because Vidal Brujan is not doing much. So I would hope that they could at least swap positions. The September call ups give him that leeway. He'll come up, hopefully get some at bats before the playoffs, and then leading into the playoffs, maybe he can get an at bat. Like he'll be more of a pinch runner, definitely. But we could see a
Alcantara has more speed, is the one thing. If you
yeah.
were to call up the Jaguar, he is fast.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you don't dish him, you could bring him up just to be a pinch runner in the playoffs. So I could see that, but I would rather have Owen Casey because again, he does currently have the better bat. So I wouldn't really hate either, but I would just rather have Owen Casey.
Yeah, another guy. I mean, you could see Mo Baller coming up, getting some late inning at bats. Jonathan Long. I mean, these Cubs prospects are stacked. And then going into my next question, say Suzuki and Ian Happ both 1 year left on their contract. You get to sign one. Who is it?
Well, I know we've had our arguments about this in the past, but I'll finally agree with you, Ryan. I'd rather sign Seiya Suzuki. He has the better bat, and although he can't field as well as Ian Happ can, I just would rather take the bat because in the big moments you need Seiya Suzuki's bat more than Ian Happ's bat. Ian Happ's bat has been very cold lately, even though he did have that hot streak. But yeah, I'd rather have Seiya Suzuki.
Yeah, I mean, the only hard thing is Ian Happ's been a Cub since 2017. He's a homegrown guy. So it'd be hard to say goodbye to him. But honestly, I thought he was going to be gone a couple of years ago with Willie at the deadline. I mean, I'm still kind of regretting not giving Contreras up for something at least. I mean, you let him walk to your rivals. I'd rather have him playing in Houston or playing somewhere in the AL than playing against us in the Cardinal Blue. It's tough to
And
watch.
crying when he gets hit it.
Yeah. But here's my thing. I would rather keep Seiya Suzuki because he has a way better bat. And I mean, I just think he brings a lot more to his ball club than Ian Happ. Even though Suzuki doesn't play the field and stuff, and I know Happ's a leader and he has good fielding, I would way rather have Seiya Suzuki and his all star bat. Also, the thing is, Suzuki's just, if you think about it, this is only his third MLB year, and he's kind of starting to come into his prime almost. You'll see him in these next couple years, and I think he's going to go on a tear and be hot take an all star the next couple of years. Yeah, maybe he got snubbed this year. I think he's a no doubt all star the next couple of years if he resigns with the Cubs, and I hope he does. I'd way rather have him as Ian Happ. Not docking on Ian Happ. I'd still love to see Ian Happ in the Cubby Blue, but I think Suzuki brings more value than Ian Happ by far.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, since you have so many outfield prospects, there's going to be a lot of tough decisions you have to make. So, the Cubs kind of dug themselves in that in that hole, but it'll be interesting to see what they bring out of it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna add a little bit more spice to to that question. Also hitting the market that year is Nico Horner, Jamison Tyon, and Matthew Boyd. So you have Saya, Hap, Nico, Jamo, Boyd. You get to keep 2 out of the 5. Who are you keeping?
Is this contract year next year?
Yes.
Wait, name me them again.
Saya Suzuki, Ian Happ, Nico Horner, Jameson Tyon, Matthew Boyd.
Matthew Boyd, Say Suzuki. Or no. No. You need to keep Nico. You have to keep Nico.
I'm going Nico and Saya.
Nico and Saya.
I
Yeah,
feel
I'm
like
gonna
you can
have
get
to agree
Boyd
with
for a
you.
low price, though.
Just because, as much as I love Matthew Boyd, and I feel like he'll stay, like, because obviously they don't actually have to sign 2 of those guys. Starting pitchers are, you can get lucky with starting pitchers because they did get lucky with Matthew Boyd, but you can get lucky signing, guys that aren't meant for the ace spot. But like, Nico is gonna become a star second baseman. Seiya Suzuki, he's got an amazing bat. Those are 2 guys that, don't come around often. So yeah, I think you gotta go Seiya and Nico there.
Yeah, and then my last question is this bench for the Cubs, I'm going to say as nice as possible, has been absolutely pathetic. They have done nothing. Justin Turner has come to the Cubs to be a power bat, and he has 12 RBIs and 2 home runs. And he has gotten countless opportunities versus left-handed pitching, but he has not done anything. Vidal Brujan is a waste of a roster spot. There's no need having him on the team. Yeah, he's a pinch runner, but he can't hit. I think probably if me or you went into an MLB game, we'd be closer to hitting an MLB pitcher than Vidal Brujan would. He's not a good defender. He brings no value to this ball club. I mean, John Birdie, he's not been terrible, but I have expected more out of him. We are paying him some decent money, and he hasn't been the bench bat that we thought he was going to be. I'm not complaining about, I know, a little reaction there.
Dude, I'm literally like the biggest John Birdie fan in the world. Like,
You are, I know.
every game he goes in, he's got a hit or 2, and he steals bases, and he's a good fielder. Like, bro, put him in the lineup more. Like, I don't get it.
I won't complain about Birdie as much as I love Reese McGuire, he's hitting 220 right now. He's been struggling. I love Reese McGuire, but Miguel Amaya is going to come up soon. My guess is they send McGuire to AAA, but they potentially do call him up when the rosters expand. He's a good veteran catcher, a good veteran presence on this team. So when do you kind of pull the plug on some of these guys like Bruhan and Turner and let the youth kind of come up, like Baestros, Hunter Long, or Jonathan Long, Kevin Alcantara, Owen Casey, Ben Cowles? When do you kind of pull the plug on these guys?
Well, the plug's been pulled on Bruhan. I still don't understand why he's on the team. Like, DJ LeMahieu just got DFA'd, and we can't even DFA Vidal Bruhan. So, I don't get it. But I'm hoping that Vidal can go because that plug's been pulled, for a while for me. You keep John Birdie. Maybe no, you're not gonna trade him. I think you gotta ship or not ship, just DFA Justin Turner, and then bring up Owen Casey, and then I don't know who else to. I mean, it's just so tough. You could go so many ways with how to fill the bench spot. So I think your bench should consist of John Birdie, Owen Casey. Um, I don't. It's just so tough. Like, there's so many. Who do you think? Who do you think other than that, John Birdie and Owen Casey? Like, if you agree with me, who would you fill
I'm
the
gonna
rest of the spot?
go. I was just writing this down as you were talking. I want Miguel Amaya when he comes back. So I'm going to put Amaya / Kelly because Amaya was very good. And him and Kelly were both succeeding when they split games. And I anticipate that they will split games in the playoffs or whoever is the hot hand. So that's why I'm kind of going either or. I keep John Birdie. I mean, yeah, he hasn't been very great, but he's done what they've needed him to do. So I know you like that. And then typically you have a 5-man bench. So I'm gonna give Owen Casey one of the spots. As long as you don't trade him, then I'm gonna go Ahmed Rosario. I want them to trade for him. I think you can put together a decent package for Ahmed Rosario and Kyle Finnegan. Give up bottom 20 prospects for Rosario and Finnegan. I'm okay with that. Do you like that idea?
Yeah, I'm good with that. I would love Rosario. I've been kind of preaching it since the Washington series.
He hits
But
very well off of left-handed pitching, so I
yeah,
would love to see him. And then that last spot, I would go Kevin Alcantara, Moses Ballesteros, um, James Triantos, or Jonathan Long. Here's my thing. I think this is what you do. You either resign Nico, or you get rid of Triantos at this deadline. My guess is they will get rid of Triantos, re-sign Nico. So I'm going to cross Triantos out there. I think Kevin Alcantara, as much as I love him, I think he's another guy who's gone at this deadline. So that leaves it down to Ballesteros and Long. So on the bench, you have Rosario, who's a righty. You have Amaya and Kelly, who are righties. But then you have Casey, who's a lefty, and Birdie, who's a righty. I do want to add one more lefty to this bench, and having three catchers in the playoffs doesn't hurt at all. So I'm going to give it to Moises Ballesteros. I'll leave Hunter Long, or Jonathan Long, but I think he will be up soon. You don't like that take?
so okay. Reese McGuire or Mo Baller? You're taking Mo Baller.
Yeah, Mo Baller's a better hitter in my opinion.
I don't hate the
McGuire
take. I'm just
McGuire's better defensively, but I would rather have Mo Baller as a pinch hitter, honestly. Like who would you rather have? Mo Baller, a guy whose tattooed baseball is well over 450 feet, or Reese McGuire, who's more of a locker room presence and a defensive guy.
big locker room presence. Would you Okay, so my question is like late in games or like late in playoff games, seventh, eighth inning. Like, wouldn't you want to bring in a defensive catcher like when you don't have to
Now I'm thinking
score?
about that. Yeah, I would like McGuire because Kelly and Amaya aren't bad, but McGuire can throw out runners. So if you have those three, say you have Kelly start the game, I start Kelly, eighth inning, bring in McGuire, and then if McGuire's scheduled to hit, you go to Amaya or Casey, and then put Amaya into catching. I would probably go McGuire, but you could go either or. Who knows? Mo Baller might get traded at the deadline.
Yeah, he could. I've been hearing, kind of rumors circulating, but it'll be interesting to see. Like, I'm really excited for this trade deadline. This is really the first trade deadline, like
Like we're excited for,
of
yeah.
my fandom that I'm like really thrilled to like live through. Like, but yeah, I'm really thrilled to see what they do.
Yeah, so we'll go around the MLB now. The White Sox beat the Blue Jays 2-1. Adrian Hauser, 7 innings. He continues to be great. 5-2, the 1.56. Would you be okay if the Cubs settled on a guy like Adrian Hauser? I mean, with the year that he's having,
I mean, a 1.56 ERA, he's 5-2. I would be completely fine with it. He's dealing right now. He's
playoff experience.
exactly playoff experience. We'll take it. We need playoff experience on this roster. So yeah, 100%. I would love it.
The Brewers walk off the Dodgers. Jackson Churio has a walk-off single, and Taylor Miguel gets the win on the mound as he was named to the All-Star game today. The Phillies beat the Giants 13-0. The Phillies scored 7 runs in the eighth inning. The Rays beat the Tigers 7-3. Junior Caminario hit a solo home run as he was named to the home run derby today. So far you got Cal Raleigh, Ronald Acuna, O'Neill Cruz, Byron Buxton. Who else is it? Junior Caminero. Who am I missing?
Hey, did you say Acuna?
Yes.
Uh, okay. Who are you missing?
Here, I'll pull it up on Talking Baseball now because they did put up a graphic earlier today. Sorry.
How about you? While you say that, I'll cover the games that are up here. I don't know if.
Here, it's fine. I got it up really quick for
All
you.
right.
So, Junior Caminero was named today. And then we got O'Neill Cruz, Byron Buxton. It's 6 I know. It's Cruz, Buxton, Caminero, Raleigh, Acuna, And I'm missing one more. James Wood. James Wood.
That's right. I forgot.
Who is your early favorite?
Cal Raleigh.
Kyle Raleigh could be. I'm gonna go young gun James Wood.
I would like to see that. I mean, I would even like to see O'Neal Cruz win it, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, I could see him doing it. He's got a lot of pop in that bat.
Yeah.
The Yankees beat the Mariners 9-6. J.S. Chisholm hit a 2-run home run, and Cam Schlittler fans 7 and earns the W in his MLB debut. Even though a little bit of rocky, not terrible. I don't think the Cubs will see him this weekend though. The Red Sox sweep the Rockies 10-2. Jaron Duran big 3-run bomb. Rami Gonzalez hit a 2-run shot. The Reds beat the Marlins 7-2. Andrew Abbott with another heck of a start, and Will Benson hit a 425-foot home run. The Royals beat the Pirates 4-3. Salvador Perez homers twice in their W, and one of his was the go-ahead. The Nationals beat the Cardinals 8-2. Mackenzie Gore shoves in 7 innings, and he struck out 7. James Wood hit a 433-foot home run. Love to see it. The Guardians beat the Astros 4-2. Finally, they get a W. Martinez and Ramirez went back to back in this win. The Angels beat the Rangers 11-8. Jorge Soler hit a go-ahead 2-run home run. The D-backs beat the Padres 8-2. Geraldo Perdomo hit a grand slam, and Eugenio Suarez hit another home run. He's been unreal. The Braves beat the Athletics 9-2. Ronald Acuna 2-homer game. Austin Riley 2-run homer. Drake Baldwin 3-run homer. Bryce Elder fans 7 across 2 2/3 of an inning. And then the Mets and the Orioles got postponed, so they will be playing a doubleheader tomorrow. Anything you got around the MLB?
Um, Nothing much. Ronald Acuna's first home run was like ballistic. It was way out
Yeah,
of
it
the
was.
stadium.
Yeah, it was.
It was crazy.
Oh, now we'll play MLB Pickle. We'll go Ronald Acuna for the first one. All right, this guy is a righty. He's not in the NL East. 27, so he's probably in the AL West or AL Central. Well, let's go
Bobby Witt.
Bobby Witt. All right, that's a good one. All right, he's probably in the AL West. So AL West righty, younger guy. He's not from the USA. Julio Rodriguez
Yeah.
in the AL West righty, around somewhere between 24 and 27. All right, Angels. Luis Rendifo.
Yeah, try him.
He's a third baseman. So we got that.
Rengifo's also a third. Rengifo's also a third baseman, isn't he?
I did guess him. Yeah, I did guess Rendifo.
Okay.
He's the third baseman in the AL West. So Astros third. Isaac Paredes.
Yeah, that's my guess.
There we go. Isaac Paredes.
Yo.
It's been a fun game actually.
It has, yeah.
All right, we'll go into our immaculate grid now. First one is Texas and the Reds. Want to skip that one?
Yeah.
LA and Texas.
Oh God.
Kirby Yates. Or
Yeah.
no, is Kirby Yates on the? Yeah. Yep, Kirby Yates. And then Texas 200 plus career. Adrian Beltre.
Yeah, I was gonna say something.
And then Giants and Reds. I know this one, dude. Oh my god, I would have pulled Kirk Casale. I remember him from the Trevor Bauer vlogs.
Oh yeah.
Yep, Kirk Casale pointing out. I was thinking of him from the Trevor Bauer vlogs because he was Trevor Bauer's catcher. I still watch those.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I still watch those videos to this day. San Francisco over 2,000 career hits. Barry Bonds. Bang. Gold Glove on LA. Was Mookie?
Oh, you had to have Boston.
You want to guess it first?
I'll guess it. Yes.
Mookie was. There we go.
Reds Gold Glove. Did Ellie? No, Ellie didn't get it. No.
No. Trying to think like
I mean, think of like
Reds all timers.
yeah.
All right, so Ellie. They don't have anyone like really good defensively now, I would say.
No, not at all. I mean, no one really.
I mean, Johnny Bench, maybe.
I was thinking the same thing actually.
Joey Votto, he was pretty good at first base. Johnny Bench,
I don't know.
he had to have, man. I'll guess it.
Oh
I'll bite
wait,
the bullet.
did
Johnny Bench
no
did.
Johnny Bench dead?
Yeah.
I
And
was
I
gonna.
just thought of a Reds and Rangers player, or Roldis Chapman.
Oh, what a nice.
I was just thinking, some of these guys I just get randomly off. If I'm gonna be completely honest.
They don't come in, then they do. All right,
Yeah.
San Francisco, Cincinnati. This one's tough.
Gold Glove.
Or not? No, we already got that one. We already got that one.
Gold Glove with 200 plus career hits.
2000. Oh,
I mean, really go anyone, honestly.
I mean,
Griffey? Griffey was pretty good defensively.
yeah, I think try Griffey.
All right.
Yep.
Here we go. All right. I'm trying to think like super utility guys.
Oh wait, no.
Wait, hold up.
Giants,
Do you
Dodgers
remember?
last.
Do you remember that guy on the Dodgers with the glasses, Matt Beatty?
Mm-hmm.
He might have played on the Giants.
I'll guess it. How did you
I was
spell his
going to
last?
be
Was it B-A-T-Y or
or
B-E-A-T-Y?
immaculate. Matt Beatty did play on them. I thought he played for them before the Dodgers. That's how I remember.
Yeah.
Some of these polls you just get randomly. There we go. We are immaculate, folks. Thank you guys for tuning in to today's show. I had a lot of fun. Hope you guys did too.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Signing off, Ryan Dunleavy.
Ryan Zelinsky.
One thing I do want to say before we go, thank you guys for 200 followers on Instagram. We really do appreciate it. That was
Yes,
a big
thank you.
milestone for us, and thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Not for real, signing off.
Ryan Zelinsky.
Ryan Dunleavy.
See you guys in the next episode.